Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Right on our strength, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. And we are so glad that you have joined us. Aaron Evernham and Steve Post here in our studios. Good to have you back. How are you?
Thanks. I'm good. Very good.
Worldwide traveler, huh?
Yeah.
You were in Florida and then horse showing.
Vermont.
You were, yes, exactly. Yep. So been all over the place. That's good.
I have. Yeah, it's been a busy summer, but all good.
The summer of Kate.
Yes. Horse show Kate.
Did
you see the pictures? She had a costume contest. We did a little 80s
I saw
theme.
that. Yeah, I saw
fun.
that with
it was fun.
Exactly.
Our other horsepower.
There you go. Exactly.
How are you?
Neat stuff. I'm fantastic. I had an off weekend, a home weekend. I love traveling. I love going to races between my NASCAR gig and my sprint car stuff. I mean, during the course of I had a 14-week stretch of weekends on the road. And it was great because I had a lot of great NASCAR races, but in there we had Huset's weekend, we had Port Royal weekend. I caught NARC racing out in California. I mean, I saw a bunch of sprint car. I mean, the whole thing was great. But there's just a time where it's like, okay, I'm ready. And so Friday night, I ran my 50th 5K.
That's awesome. I saw that.
Yeah,
congratulations.
I did that. I really, really, really love that. And I'm working on something bigger going forward with that, with my running. On Saturday, I went under the radar Saturday afternoon, went up to Winston-Salem. There's some great breweries up there. And then I just kind of slid on into one of my favorite places in the world, Bowman Gray Stadium on Saturday night.
Where do you watch from at Bowman?
Just turn number 1 high in the grandstands.
Yeah. So you get to see the crowd.
The
crowd is where it's
at. The crowd reaction. Yeah, everything is great.
A lot of middle fingers.
Exactly. We had Burt Myers win. Tim Brown finished second. We had restart shenanigans, 3 attempts at a restart. And of course, half the people thought the restarts were perfectly fine. The other half the restarts thought that the guy should be banned for life. And it's Bowman Gray Stadium on a Saturday night. Bowman Gray Stadium. I was talking to, of all people, Flea Rudsick, who was just a fascinating guy. During the midget weekend at Millbridge, or the Monday, Tuesday midget show, he came down early and he went to Bowman Gray Stadium. And he was like, that place is an American treasure. It really is. And you just sit there and I'm telling you, it's just 2 hours and 7 minutes of the best entertainment you'll ever have for $12.
Yep.
Get in the car and drive home.
Yeah.
And it was so good. It was great. So I did that. And then the girls and I, my daughters and I, we went to a Kannapolis Cannonballs game. That's our minor league ball thing. I had never been to the stadium. Oh my God.
Oh, it's a brand new one, right?
Brand new. Yeah. Well, it was brand new. It was supposed to open in 2020, and then the worldwide pandemic broke out. So it's like in its second year of open now.
I haven't been there. I went to the Intimidators back in the day.
A beautiful stadium. And I always sit there, minor league baseball and the entertainment they do, the way things are run. I always compare it to what we do with short track racing. And boy, they put on a nice show. The game was good, and then the game was good. Intimidators are down 3-0. They score 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th.
Wow.
Place is just crazy. I mean, it's cool. So a great weekend off. It really was.
Good.
So fun stuff. I think it's great. Now reset and move on.
Yep.
And get the second half of the year underway. So it's going to be good. That's for sure. I have mentioned this a couple of times, and I wanted to take some time right here at the top to mention this. This is the Billy Pouch book by Buffy Swanson. It's called The Last Cowboy, The Life and Times of Billy Pouch. Forward by Ray Evernham.
Yepper.
Some guy you know well. First off, Buffy Swanson is one of the best writers in motorsports, period. I mean, she just is good. And the Swansons and the Pouches are friends. So who better to do a book on Billy Pouch than Buffy? And it covers everything from his dad, the early days, to modified success, to sprint car success, to modified success, to asphalt modifieds. And this book is phenomenal. I am a recently new reader. I've read 2 books now. My first book was on Johnny
this year,
Cash.
yes,
right. Yes, exactly.
You made it sound like it was overall.
Well, overall. Well, yeah, for this, yeah, well, it might be overall. There probably was some time in high school or college when I read.
You had the Cliff Notes.
The Cliff Notes, exactly. Cliff Notes, man, I love those things. Woo, go to the bookstore and grab the Cliff Notes and giddy up. I've read 2 books now, Johnny Cash and Billy Pouch.
I mean, if you're going to read some books.
That's called badass reading right there.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I highly recommend it. I don't even know where you can get this book. I'm sure you can find it. Just the Last Cowboy, Billy Pouch's book. I'm telling you, folks, get it. If you just want to read, we just talked about Bowman Gray Stadium, an American treasure. Billy Pouch is an American treasure, and this book does a great job. The thing I like about it also is as a new reader, there's just a lot of there's not many pages where it's all words. So there's a lot of pictures.
I like that because a lot of books do that center section.
Right, yes. No, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, well, and that's the first thing I go to.
Right, exactly.
And then,
yes. This book is put together so well. It really is. And I know it sounds like, well, I like it because of the pictures. No, I like it because the pictures, they relate. So you're talking about him driving for this team owner, and there's pictures of that. You don't have to fumble through to that section. So the Billy Pouch book, get it. I mean, it's phenomenal. It really, truly is. All right, let's get into our Hepner Racing Product Hot Topics. Our first hot topic is Anthony Macri, who is one of our guests coming up in a little bit. Silly season struck Anthony Macri, and it seems like all of central Pennsylvania. So we'll get into that a little bit with Anthony when we talk to him. But Bernie Stuebgen shows up. Whatever his role is there, maybe we'll learn about that today because Bernie's going to be on the show as well. We're also going to have Cory Eliason on the show. So we got a big show, 3 guests here today. Bernie shows up. They get the car tuned up. He goes to Williams Grove. He starts 8th and wins. He comes back to Lincoln, which, remember, a year or so ago, Lincoln was not his place at all.
No.
He goes to Lincoln and wins and picks it up. So Anthony Macri, 16 wins now on the season. So it's going to be fun. We're going to talk to Anthony. One of the great stories by the end of January this year was Tanner Thorson. Okay. He finally won the Chili Bowl. One of the absolute most frustrating, trying stories since the end of January has been the 410 sprint car world of Tanner Thorson. He had that ride with snow racing. That went away. We saw a little glimmer of things. He's dating, engaged, I think it is, to Stevie Smith's daughter.
Yep.
So they did the Stevie Smith tribute car. I think they did the Steve Smith tribute car.
I think so, yeah.
Steve Smith. It was Steve Smith tribute car in Pennsylvania, and he had some top 10 runs there. So you're like, okay, well, you climb aboard that Demsen Rutschke number 49 car, and then you throw a little Brian Kemenaugh into the mix. That's how whoever did this, whoever put this together, it was good career choices for Tanner Thorson because they go to Attica and win. And Aaron, you just can't. You've got to have you can be a Chili Bowl champion, but if the combination is not there, as I think we saw, it did not work.
Yeah.
And I have no idea where this thing is going. I think they're running the Doty Classic tonight.
Yeah.
But I have no idea where this thing is going. But when you get the right car, the right mechanic, and the right driver, they won at Attica on Friday night. And Brian Kemenaugh.
Well, he's one of my favorites, of course. And he's a genius. I mean, when it comes to sprint car crew chiefs, he's got to be in the top 5 or 8 in the country, in my opinion.
If I am starting a sprint car team today, and I'm not, and I didn't play the lotto last night, so I didn't win the lotto.
You didn't?
I didn't win. I haven't won the lottery.
Did you buy some raffle tickets for the Sprint Car Hall of Fame?
I have bought that. I got that.
So maybe you are.
Well, there's the thing is getting a sprint car and starting a sprint car team. The worst thing in the world that could happen is if I won. Not the worst thing if I won that raffle, because then no. But if I was, I really honestly believe that Brian Kemenaugh might be the guy I would hire.
Yeah.
To assemble, to put together, and to run the team.
Absolutely.
He's that good.
When we started our team back in 2010, Brian was my number 1 pick.
Right.
It was not the right timing.
Things didn't work out.
We always talk about we'd love to have worked together at some point.
Yeah.
But agree, he is top of the list.
He is. And so he puts Tanner Thorson on the front stretch at Attica.
And how cool is that for Tanner? Because I don't care who you are, what you've been through, what you've won in the past, but your confidence gets...
That Chili Bowl has to seem like 25 years ago.
Exactly.
I mean, I am a huge fan of Tanner Thorson. We had got a chance. It was 2018, and he was running some races in the Childress truck.
Yep.
It was a combo deal. It might have been Tyler Young Motorsports, but it was tied in with he was in the Childress development program. And we actually was at Eldora on Friday, and then that was the year I went out to the Kading Classic. It was this week or something. It was about the same time. And we actually got to spend a lot of time together. And I'm very high on Tanner Thorson.
Yep.
And then he had the big accident, the road accident. Then he came back and carved out really good midget success. And here he is and makes the move. And then I was just happy to see him win.
Yep.
There's a 24-year-old racer from Grand Forks, North Dakota named Jade Hastings. Okay, he's the 2020 NOSA champ. 2022, the plan was to continue to run NOSA. That's the Northern Outlaw Sprint Association. They come down, they run a lot of South Dakota and North Dakota tracks. Okay, his plan was to run NOSA and Huset's on Huset's on Sunday nights. May 15th, his truck died, and he had to give up the Huset's plans. Okay, and so you got to be and what you got up there is you've got the NOSA, which is a great regional tour, and then you've got Huset's, which is a nationally known track. So you can get your success at the NOSA tour, but a win at Huset's, running good at Huset's is a different tier. It's just the pecking order of what it is. It's IRA is not the world of outlaws.
Yep.
I mean Butler Battlegrounds is not Williams Grove. We understand everything, and NOSA is a great tour. Yeah. Jade Hastings is a great champion, and he was adding Huset's in this year to kind of build their program and to continue to go, and the truck up and dies, and they miss a race at Huset's. Yeah. And it just comes, okay, then what do we do now? So they adapted, and they kind of gave up on that plan as far as that goes. This weekend, ironically, he'd finished second or third on Friday night at River Cities. Ironically, on Saturday, he's headed to Brown County Speedway in South Dakota, and they have all kinds of truck problems on the way there. Get there, parked it on the front stretch. Sunday up to Casino Speedway up in South Dakota, goes out, hot laps. They have to make a rear end change, barely make it out for time trials, get a time in, and park it on the front stretch on Sunday night. Nice. His previous three races finishes were all top four finishes. So seems like Jade Hastings, a great 24-year-old. I don't know the guy. Seems like a great racer.
Yeah.
As found a stride, and that's really cool. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and we'll get into this later on in the program. NOSA and IRA are teaming up at River Cities for 2 nights this week. So for someone like Jade Hastings, this is a great week, and great to have this momentum coming into this week to tangle with the IRA bunch. On tracks where the NOSA guys have regular experience, River Cities. Yeah. So I think that's really, really cool. Other winners, speaking of River Cities, don't look now, Mark Dobmeyer, 2 in a row now.
No surprise.
No, exactly. Dynamite's got his stride going there.
Gosh, that is his race stride.
Yes, it is. AJ Flick won at Tri-City Speedway in Pennsylvania. I saw that, and I went and looked it up at the sprint car rating site. 9 wins for the season. That's
impressive.
Pretty good. Yeah, AJ Flick. As long as things continue, he's going to get to double-digit wins. And how about it if you're Ma or Pa Macedo, almost Macedo. Carson won Saturday at Wilmot, and Cole won Saturday at Fremont. So a good day for the Macedo and Tarleton families.
Sure was.
So neat stuff. Carson Macedo is our guest this week on our Wing Nation show this weekend, coming up on MAV TV and on Rev TV in Canada. And he actually, and this is interesting, he actually breaks down some of the family tree. Because there's Tarletons.
I've always kind of wondered.
Well, tune in this week. There's Tarletons, there's Macedos, and then over here there's Facintos.
Oh, they're related to the Facintos,
They're related to
too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, Carson broke it down. And Hank, I think, Hank, we're going to do, in Knoxville, we may actually do a family tree graphic we're going to work on with Carson on this. And but it's fun stuff. Great stuff. So great night. All right, Hefter Racing Products, mule conversions, and nobody knows more about this than yours truly. The absolute #1 pit utility vehicle in sprint car and midget racing is a custom mule conversion from HRP, and it starts with a solid platform, dependable, good-looking Kawasaki mule. Aaron, what else does it have?
Well, it's customized and built to each customer's specifications and has options like generator, air compressor, shock and radius rod racks, amazing toolboxes and drawers, LED lighting, walk-on roofs, and more. HRP mule conversions perform, outlast, and maintain their value better than any other utility vehicle. HRP Mules, raising the standard again in pit utility vehicles.
Yes, indeed. And you can find out more at www.hrpracing.com. That's hrpracing.com. Sage Fruit Hotline's going to be busy. We've got Bernie Stuebgen later on in the program. We've got Cory Eliason later in the program. Coming up when we return, Anthony Macri. Sage Fruit is a premium grower, packer, and shipper of Washington tree fruit. Apples, pears, and cherries, and it's always an exceptional eating experience, and they're grown in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. High-quality fruit, exceptional flavor, healthy snacking. Make sure when you go to your local grocery store, ask for Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com.
Just like racing components, Aggressive Hydraulics purpose-builds hydraulic cylinders to perform for customer-specific applications. They design and manufacture mobile-style, single-stage cylinders as well as multi-stage telescopic cylinders. It's a no one-size-fits-all approach with Aggressive Hydraulics. Hydraulic solutions for virtually every industry that uses hydraulic cylinders. They proudly design and manufacture all cylinders in the United States. Check out the video of their story at aggressivehydraulics.com.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
It is Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Let's go to the Sage Fruit Hotline. Joining us from up in the great state of Pennsylvania, Anthony Macri's on the line. Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We are doing well. Anthony, I can't imagine, you've had some big wins. You've had bigger career wins than you had probably Friday and Saturday night, but I can't imagine how nice it was to get that car to victory lane a couple times this weekend.
Yeah, it definitely felt nice. I mean, after everything that went on, and I kind of made the worst mistake I probably could have, and read all the Facebook and the Twitter comments, and it got to me a little bit, but it just kind of made the fire under my butt a little bit bigger. So, I felt like I kind of had something to go out and prove, and obviously Bernie helped me kind of achieve that statement, and I obviously can't thank him enough, because without him coming in, really don't even know if the weekend would have been possible. But yeah, we made it do.
So Anthony, without getting into any of the details of it, how did it come about to have Bernie work with you? Is that a friendship that you've had? Did you just give him a call? Is it something maybe going forward you can work with? How did that happen? And what was it like working with the new crew chief for the weekend?
I actually, everybody probably never even remembers it because of how poorly I did, but I ran his car last year at Kings Royal. And, ever since then, we just, kind of had like a friendship, like reach out to each other, like once in a while to talk. And, I had enough confidence in him as a friend that he would probably come in a pinch. And, obviously, with everything going down on a Thursday afternoon, my options were kind of limited. So I gave Bernie a call, and, he kind of, didn't even hesitate and said, let me just try to find somebody to cover the shop. And he was able to do that. And, sometimes a change of scenery is nice. And it was just, really nice to be able to work with Bernie. He's like really laid back. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. And, I don't know, there was just kind of a confidence between the two of us in each other that it was kind of nice to have. And I don't know. It was just really nice, laid back kind of weekend. Just, nice to kind of free the mind.
I am sure. I'm sure there's a lot that goes on, and you address the mistake of going on social media, and I'm telling you, that place is a cesspool. I mean, it's just unreal. And I live there, and I love it. And there's a lot of good, but boy, there's a lot of bad there as well. Anthony, as a race car driver, confidence. How important is that confidence? You've won 16 times this year. On Thursday of last week, you'd won 14 times. You were the winningest driver in the country, and you're reading all of this crap about yourself. How important, though, is confidence when you climb aboard a race car once you got back into that car on Friday night?
I mean, I think confidence is everything in sprint car racing. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person that can tell you. It's just sprint car racing. It's more of a mental sport than it is physical. But I knew at the end of the day that, obviously winning 14 races that, there was some capability in me, no matter what Facebook and Twitter said. But, it's just, I think Thursday night at some point in time, I knew I just had to, get off my phone because it was only dragging me down mentally. So, I showed up to Shop Friday with a certain message that I wanted to prove, and I worked my ass off all day Friday with Bernie, and and it paid off. So just talking to him in the shop, and I don't even really know how to explain it, but just throughout the events that happened Friday, and being able to talk to Bernie and different people reaching out to me, texting me, it gave me the confidence that everything was going to be all right, and then me being me, there was still the little demon inside me saying that it's gonna end terribly, and all the people on Facebook are gonna be right. But I think after hot laps, I was like, I legitimately think we have a shot to win tonight, no matter where we start. And we were able to put ourselves in position in the heat race to start up front, and starting eighth at Williams Grove. I knew it was going to be a small feat to get the win, but Bernie just gave me such a good car that it was honestly like so easy to drive that like I could focus on what other guys were driving, like what they were driving, like their patterns, and ultimately it was like, I don't want to say it was an easy feature win, but it was fairly easy just because of how smooth everything was going. So I don't know.
Anthony, I appreciate you so much being open about social media and how much it does affect you, and the little demon telling you maybe those people are right. I didn't have to deal with any of social media, thank God, when I was racing.
Oh, my God.
I mean, there was enough fan mail and other ways they could get to you. But how do you manage that as a driver? You hit on it a little bit, talking with Bernie, talking with people that are close to you on Friday. But, a lot of drivers come in here and they'll say, oh, you just have to have thick skin. You can't read it. But we all know everyone reads it. You can't help yourself but to read it. How do you kind of sift through that? Or is it just what you said? You talk to people who are close to you. You talk to people like Bernie and just kind of remind yourself. And then obviously go out there on track and go win is the best way to prove it to them.
I mean, me personally, at the end of the day, that, 90% of the people that are saying something on Facebook, they probably, I don't want to be rude, but they really don't know what it takes to, not even work on a sprint car, let alone drive one. So they don't see they see us show up at the racetrack and race. They don't see the behind the scenes stuff. So, at the end of the day, I just got to tell myself that, those people really don't know, and it's not their fault, but, they just don't know. And, that's their opinions. Everybody's entitled to opinion. Mm-hmm. I'm not on here bashing people for saying stuff, but, it's just, you gotta have a small circle of people that, you can trust. And, I have a very good small circle of people that, believe in me and are there for me. And, at the end of the day, that's ultimately what's most important, is to have a good small circle of people. And, that's what I have. And, all the additional people that, you wouldn't never expect to text you, that obviously gives you some confidence too. So, I don't know. At the end of the day, you just kind of got to believe in yourself and what you're capable of doing. And that's just kind of what I've had to do the past week and a half.
Man, dude, that is some good stuff. That is some great stuff. I will admit, though, I'm a little disappointed. I'm just saying. I met your mother at Port Royal, and she is a wonderful person, and she gave me one of the crew shirts. And so when I found out there was an opening up there,
thought it was your shot.
I grabbed the crew shirt and I watched my phone, waiting for the call. I had the shirt already, waiting for the call. I share that. I absolutely had a wonderful visit with your mom. I know your parents. I know your family. What does it mean? You talk about that small circle. What does it mean to have that group of people behind you that are not going to let anything like that happen to you? What does that mean?
It honestly means the world. I mean, I really can't even begin to describe it. I mean, to have a good backing is everything, especially in racing, I feel, and not just racing, but life in general. So, I don't know. It's just it means a lot, and I'm thankful for it.
Did you even think about calling me for the crew chief job, or didn't I come up on your hot list? Didn't I come up on your?
I had very little input on the decisions that were made. I made the phone call to Bernie, and that was after a couple of us talked. So
I can't imagine that Bernie was higher than you on the list.
Go to.
I mean, I can't believe that you picked Bernie over Steve Post for a crew chief. I mean, phew.
Man. I got to stay off social media now.
Oh, God.
No, that's a great find. That's really cool. That's for sure.
So big weekend ahead, headed to the Kings Royal. Is Bernie going to work with you? Is there a plan for the weekend? What is it looking like?
Yeah, Bernie's, kind of on board for us for this weekend. And then, after that, it's kind of week to week at this point in time. I mean, until obviously we're still looking for somebody that could, be our crew chief full time. I mean, Bernie has his parts store and his own race cars. So, it's kind of week to week at this time. But anything can happen. But we're just searching around and interviewing people in a way. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, the right person is going to walk through that door because they know they've got a good team and a good driver. It's a combination. Yeah. We actually talked about this in our opening. A great driver, great equipment, and a great mechanic are a combination. And a combination. You've had that in the past, and you'll get it again, and you'll have it pretty good this weekend.
I was
going
to say you're
in pretty good shape this weekend as well. Anthony, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for the time. Thanks so much for the honesty, for the candor, and chatting with us. And we're going to be following along. We wish you the best up at Eldora this weekend.
Alrighty, thank you.
There we go. Anthony Macri joining us. That is a kid 4 years ago that would not talk on this program.
Yeah.
He would begrudgingly in victory lane conduct an interview. I'm telling you, I sat there at one time just listening to him with chills. He is just matured as a young man, as a person. And then obviously the drive. Yes, exactly. And the reality of this is, and this is just some old dude talking, sometimes you got to have moments like he had last Thursday that make you a better, stronger person and learn you some lessons on how to handle things. And, I sat there listening to the interview thinking that this is the kid that it used to be like Macri won 6 races in a row. Do you think he'll come on the show? And Krager would be like, probably not. He just would never wanted to talk about it. And over the course of time, he'd return our calls and come on the show. And then he gives us like one of the best interviews ever.
Yeah.
I mean, just freaking all out. This is what's going on. This is what we're doing. Honest, open. Genuine. This is what we're doing. Genuine. Man, I love what's going on with Anthony Macri, the young man. And I love, obviously, the way he wheels a car. Woo, man.
16 wins.
Yeah, 16 wins. Yeah, the crew chief, the mechanic doesn't get all those 16 wins.
Exactly.
The drivers got to have a part in some of it as well. Fun stuff. From one silly season story to another. When we come back, Corey Eliason, he joins us here on Wing Nation.
Power isn't born. It's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Circle B Diecast is the new diecast outlet from Plan B Sales. What started as a Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor has grown into the largest distributor of diecast and now includes Auto World, Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing lines. They have a huge inventory. The folks at Circle B Diecast love racing, and they support drivers like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others with sponsorships and partnerships. On orders of $20 or more, use promo code MRN for free shipping. You can check them out at www.circlebdiecast.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com.
Presented by Hercules Tires. Right on our strength, talking sprint car racing. Let's go back to the Sage Fruit Hotline. Silly season 2022. Corey Eliason joins us. Hello, Corey. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We are doing well. Corey, it's never fun to get the call you got a couple of weeks ago from Kevin Rudine, letting you know that, and I think you were aware that performance was not where you guys needed it to be. Timing on this stuff is never good. What's the last couple of weeks been like for you as you regroup and sort out where you're going from here? What's that been like?
It really, I mean, I guess it was kind of a shock. Obviously, you don't really expect to get let go, I guess, in the middle of the season. It's one of them things. It's part of our industry. It's kind of how this deal works. Unfortunately, performance wasn't great. We were well aware of it, and something has to change, and it's either the crew chief or the driver usually gets changed, and Kevin felt that it was best to change on my end. So right now, as far as I really haven't gone out and searched, I've talked to a few people that have called mainly, but right now, I think I'm kind of sticking with Bernie at the Indy Race Parts car. We ran Knoxville 2 weeks ago, and we ended up running second for our first night together. So I think we're trying to put together something where we can, race. We got big races coming up throughout the year. The second half of the year is always the bigger portion of it. So I think he's excited. He's expresses he's excited, and I'm kind of excited. It's something new, I guess. Everybody needs change in life, and that's kind of where we're at. So I think for the most part, I'll be, as of right now, I'll be driving the 71 Indy Race Parts car.
Corey, as a race car driver, it's part of what you sign up for is the uncertainty of a job. But you were with Rudine for 3.5 years. You hit on this a little bit, but how hard is that of a transition? You have something stable for a long period of time, and then you find yourself kind of almost lost looking for something. How has that been for you? I know, like I said, you hit on it a little bit, but go into detail a little more as a driver, how hard that is.
I mean, it's difficult. There's not much to. I mean, it's hard to cope with because it's familiar, it's comfortable, it's the same group of guys, it's the same truck and trailer. You go to the races, you know what you have, and you know who the people you talk to and the people that are in your circle, basically, that are part of the team or the front office, management, whichever it is. And basically the rug gets ripped out from underneath you, and it's kind of a, I don't know, it's almost a world is ending fear, as I guess I could describe it, because you don't really know what the next move is. You don't know what's going to happen. You're still trying to process why it happened. Why me? You always ask the question, but going through it, I've talked a lot with Kevin Keys and Modi Coaching, and he's kind of, really helped along the way, I guess, building up to this. It's more of a one door closes, the other door opens. You just have to be open to, that door opening and, recognize it when it does. And it was weird, racing for Bernie the first time, just because it's a different car, it's a different shop, it's, different everything. And it's like, okay, we'll work through it and kind of see where it ends up. But I think it's, it benefits me having a relationship with Bernie. We've become friends over the past 5 or 6 years, and that kind of helped make the transition a little bit easier. But it's still, it's a very weird feeling, not going to the same shop every day, not talking to the same guys every day. It's just different knowing that car is going out and racing and you're not in it anymore. I guess is it's just a different feeling. It's kind of hard to describe it, but it's definitely a uncomfortable feeling. That yet again, it's a part of life. It's, I guess our job is a little more difficult than others as far as when you lose your job as the driver. It's not, you can't just go hop in something else or, go to the next office and apply for a job and get it. So that's kind of the hardest part, is just hoping that, a ride becomes available and you're kind of the top candidate for it.
Yeah, especially in July. That's it's kind of timing of everything is interesting. That is for sure. When you find yourself in this spot, Corey, you probably have to weigh, and I love the landing with Bernie, because you don't want to be out of sight, out of mind, but you don't want to be riding around in last place in some old sled. Okay. Is this a really good combination to Bernie that you can, and you finished second at Knoxville on your first time out with him? This seems to me like there's got to be a balance that you needed to strike as you make this next step forward.
Right, and that's where I was at. We have people talk, and then they call and want to know if you're available for this race or this race, and it's kind of at the stage. I committed to the first person I talked to right after it was Bernie. And it was funny because I asked him, I said, how many engines do you have ready to go right now? And he said, 4. I have 6 total. Why? And I never responded. And that was the day that I got told I was out of the 26. And so the next, I think later that night, he called me and asked me why I was asking those questions. And I told him, and he's been wanting to race with me for 4 years now. And it's finally going to happen. But as you said, it's not, you can't just go hop in anything, because right now my stock's not really that high. Everybody's, there's people that believe in me, but then there's also people that are like, well, yeah, he was good maybe at one stage in his life, but now he's, not very fast anymore. He just kind of rides around in the back or whatever they say. So it's very detrimental to pick the right combination that is going to do the best with you. And, I'm perfectly content racing with Bernie, the rest of this year. I mean, next year, whatever it is that comes about it, I feel we get along great, and I feel he understands me. What I say, he sees. So that's 90% of the battle right there.
Absolutely. You say that you feel like your stock isn't that high. How gratifying or satisfying was it to go to Knoxville and run second? That's not an easy place. I don't care what week, what day you run Knoxville, but to go out in his car first time out and run second, that had to feel good.
It was definitely, I guess kind of a confidence booster for myself. I have a lot of good people around me that, help try to bring my confidence up and make sure like, oh, you can still do this. Don't worry about all the noise outside of it. And like I said, it was weird getting in it, but I already had the trust built with Bernie for whatever reason. We do business together and we've been friends, so that kind of helped. But just the fact that he's excited to go race with me and expresses that he's excited, and I see it, makes it a big difference. Knoxville is difficult, but I feel it's difficult because it's so easy. It's hard that, you got to get an extra 100th or 1,000th in qualifying that makes a world of a difference from 20th to 4th or whatever it be. But we ran Knoxville that weekend, and I feel like that was the widest it's ever been. I mean, the curve, I've never raced Knoxville where the curb's literally packed up against the fence and we're banging it off the fence there, or the bottom is not even a tire width wide, and it's hard to hit, but if you do hit it, it's still just as fast. So after I left there, I was pretty pumped up because I feel like if you can get around the bottom there, every Nationals I watch, if you can get around the bottom, you have a shot at it there. And I felt pretty confident that I can show up and run the bottom, and I'm going to be able to drive by guys.
Wow, man! I'll tell you what, it's amazing just to hear you say I left there feeling so good, because it's such a fascinating, interesting time, and
roller coaster.
Exactly, roller coaster time. That's for sure. So, do you have a next race with Bernie lined up? Are there plans to go to the Kings Royal this weekend? I know we just had Anthony on, and Bernie's working with him there. Do you have anything concrete yet, or are you still finalizing all the details?
I mean, there's really no, I guess, finalizing or details with him. It's he called me and he basically said, "This is your car. You can run it as much as you want, as much as I can afford until I go broke or until you fire me. This is your ride to have." So, I mean, that's pretty cool for him to say. And I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, I've been there, but he's pretty pumped, and I think I definitely think we're going to try to get after it at Kings Royal. And I mean, I know all the big marquee events is on the schedule as far as Nationals, Jackson Nationals, probably the Foundation race. Maybe Williams Grove, the National Open, Tuscarora, World Finals, stuff like that. That's more of his forte. He likes going to big places, and he likes going to the nice facilities to definitely go race at. So I think that's kind of where we're headed. I mean, things can change. Obviously, I know as a business owner, Indy Race Parts kind of consumes him. So if he's called there, he kind of has to be there and can't really take off to go racing as much. But I'm well aware of it going into the deal, so it's not going to be like a letdown if he says, "Hey, we can't really go race during the week. I got to wait till the weekend because I got business to deal with." So I think it'll work out great. And I mean, who knows? We could get going good, and we could start racing more than me or him planned on.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. You're with a racer like Bernie. If it's going good, you never know. Corey, we really appreciate your time today. We appreciate your candor, your honesty as you deal with this. And I don't know. I know Erin at one time, I could tell the look in her eyes. We're really both excited about what the future holds for you. So we wish you the best on that. We can't wait to follow along. And we'll be calling you some Tuesday after a big win and talk about that win and celebrate with you here on Wing Nation. But thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you.
There we go. Cory Eliason joining us here on the program. Okay, so we talked to Anthony Macri about Bernie. We've talked to Corey about Bernie. Let's step away, and how about we talk to Bernie next? Stay with us, everyone. Sage Fruit is a premium grower, packer, and shipper of Washington tree fruit. Apples, pears, and cherries, and it's always an exceptional eating experience, and they're grown in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. High-quality fruit, exceptional flavor, healthy snacking. Make sure when you go to your local grocery store, ask for Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking.
Circle B Diecast is the new diecast outlet from Plan B Sales. What started as Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor has grown into the largest distributor of diecast and now includes Auto World Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing lines. They have a huge inventory. The folks at Circle B Diecast love racing and support drivers like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others with sponsorships and partnerships. And on orders over $20, use promo code MRN for free shipping. Check them out, circlebdiecast.com.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, right on our strength rolls along. A triple dose of the Sage Fruit Hotline. We spent the first segment talking about Bernie. We spent the second segment talking about Bernie. So, well, let's spend the third segment talking with Bernie. Bernie Stuebgen joins us from up at Indy Race Parts. Hello, Bernie. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Okay, before all of everything else starts, okay, before we even get started with Anthony and Corey and everything else, You did a really, really nice. It was a great interview with Aaron, and you sent popcorn. Thank you for the popcorn.
Yes.
I am a Aaron shared it
I
with
did
me.
share.
She shared
I didn't
it with
want
me.
to, but I did.
Yes, the popcorn. I am a popcorn aficionado. Well, I don't know if I'm an aficionado. I know I love it. So thank you very much for the popcorn.
Yes.
I need to get that out of the way.
And I
have
to say, I think he's one of the very few. We've had a few guests, but not a lot send thank you. So that was very much appreciaed.
So now we're good.
Yep.
We're good on the popcorn
Yes.
thing. That's for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, Steve actually left me a few kernels.
Wow. Wow. All right. So, Bernie, what's going on? Anything happening in your world? Oh, my God, dude.
It's just an average day for me. It's funny as you were calling in here. I had Randy Noah Gass's dad. He's pulling up out front to pick up a front clip to fix one of Noah's cars that he crashed a couple weeks ago, and it's just an average day for me.
No doubt about it. Let's see. Where do we want to start? Let's go back 2 weeks ago. Corey Eliason getting the chance to field your car with Corey. Just talk a little bit about how that come about. And Corey said that you guys are working on some stuff going forward. Just describe a little bit how that fit together for what you had and where he was at.
It's just like, I don't know. I watched Corey years ago with when he was in Dennis Roth's car. And I always thought that, man, this kid, he likes to stand on the hammer, and that's what I like, And the good thing about Corey is when he slides his helmet on, he might have buddies in the pits or whatnot, but I chuckle because when he slides his helmet on, he got no friends. He's going out there to drive that thing as hard as he could drive it. And I remember I was working on Gio's car, and we were at Calistoga, and Corey was starting on the pole, and Gio was outside. And I remember I told Gio, I said, hey, he's going to use you up going into one, so you have to use him up before he uses you up. And Gio was like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, dude, just go in there and dive underneath them and just run them all the way to the fence. And then I said, because it's going to be narrow in one lane. And lo and behold, Gio didn't get it done, and Corey went on and won the race.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I just have always admired. Like you could ask my wife. I've said for probably 5 years. I said, man, I would just like the opportunity for Corey to drive for me, someday, because I think that we could. I think that we truly could win some races. And I mean, for all bad things that happen, sometimes good things happen too. And I do feel bad for him because he was in a good, comfortable spot, and obviously, the 26 car is a well-funded team and just very established. So I feel bad that he, loses out on a ride like that. But hopefully we can, go do something and we can win some races.
Bernie, after talking with Corey and with Anthony, I just couldn't help but think of how cool it is that you're in the position that you are. You have the parts business, you have a great team, you only run certain races that you want to run, but you're providing these kids with an opportunity or help that can really help their career. When we talked to Corey, he said when he heard from Rudine, he felt like his stock was really down, and he knew he had the friendship with you, that he reached out to you. Like, I think that says a lot about you. And I think it was really neat that you guys went out and ran second the first night together. Talk about running Knoxville and actually getting him in your car after all those years of talking about it.
Oh, obviously Williams Grove and Knoxville are my two favorite racetracks. I like a lot of racetracks, but those two are my favorite. And so, like whenever we decided we were going to do something, and I said, well, there's a race that pays a little bit of money in August at Knoxville. We probably ought to go run some laps there. And I actually hadn't been to Knoxville yet this year. And so, that was our, and Jamie Ball let us jump in there on the test for Friday night. So that made it even more, worthwhile going there because we were able to test. So we got to test on Friday and try some stuff. And I think we made really good laps, and then followed it up with racing on Saturday, I think he did a great job, and it's one of those things, like at the end of the day, no two drivers are the same, and so you just have to, like I would normally do this or do that for this guy or go do that for this guy, and so you just kind of gotta listen to what the driver tells you, and and then just kind of mix everything together. And I like to share my information with my driver. Like I tell him, hey, here's where I'm at. I got these bars. This is where we're at on the shock. I got this much wind up and whatnot. And then that makes them maybe, I don't know if anybody else shares that information with them as far as a crew chief goes or whatnot, but I just think that makes them feel more included in the scenario. And then whenever the race is over and, maybe you started second and you ran 12th, and he comes in and he's like, man, that sucks. Let's not take that weight out of the left rear. Let's not do that. And so, I think that, going to Knoxville and doing it that way, it just, it worked out well for us.
That is neat. That is really neat, the analytical, the approach, the if this, then that sort of approach. So you're rolling along, you're working on this deal with Corey, you're scheduling, you're working on everything else, and Anthony Macri calls you last Thursday. What in the wide world of sports was going through your mind when that call came in?
Well, it's kind of funny. Excuse me. So Jim Shuttlesworth, who obviously was Anthony's crew chief, I had talked to him Thursday morning at like 10 o'clock or so. I had talked to him and I said, "Oh, you still on 39 car?" And he said, "Yeah, they haven't fired me yet, so I'm good to go." And he goes, "I'm at the beach, but I'm heading up there shortly. I'll be there in the morning." So I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." Well, then at about noon, I see Anthony's calling me, and I chuckled, and I'm like, "Well, we don't talk every day, so he must need something if he's calling me." So I answered the phone, and he's like, "Hey, I know this is really short notice, but do you think you could come to Williams Grove and Lincoln, or do you think that I could drive the 71 car at Knoxville?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Let me." I said I had plans of getting this, that, and whatever. I said, let me work out some scenarios and I'll get back to you. So I contemplated. I was like, well, for simplicity, I could just get him to come and drive the 71 at Knoxville. But then I thought, well, I have promised that that's Corey's ride, and I don't want everybody to this, that, whatever.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, I'm like, man, I hate to put Anthony in the car, and then we go to Knoxville, and he maybe possibly crashes a thing and kills a frame or whatever. Well, then that takes the car away from Corey. So I was like,
yeah.
So I just said, well, you know what? I'll just come to Williams Grove and Lincoln. And then I really didn't ever think about it. I just was like, oh yeah, it's just another sprint car to work on. And so my wife, she got up work, and so we got in the truck and we're heading that way on Thursday night. And I got to about the Pennsylvania line, and I said, I didn't really think about it, but this kid's won 14 races this year. That's a lot of pressure to put on my shoulders. I didn't really think about that. Maybe I should have thought about this a lot more. And so then, we got there, and obviously I wanted to bring my own shocks. Matt Hummel from FK Indy, he does my shocks, and, that's just part of my package. And then they run different torsion bars, and I wanted to bring my own torsion bars. So, basically we kind of, by the time we loaded up to leave on Friday, we did a lot of changes. Jim, obviously he has his, he has his setup, his way of doing things, and they were a little bit different than me. So we changed a lot of stuff on the car to suit more what I wanted to do. I chuckled because I didn't really think about it. I just wanted it to be the way I wanted it to be. And Nick Macri says to me on Saturday, he's like, yeah, he goes, the boys told me you changed a lot of stuff. So I was really worried on Friday, like, man, we're going to suck really bad because he changed everything on this car. And then he says, but he goes, obviously it worked out really well. So you just change whatever you want to change.
That's awesome. Bernie, when you go in to work on a car like you did with Anthony, and you bring your own shocks, you bring your own torsion bars, how does that, you talked about you going in the shop and making all those changes, but you had to have a few hours to do that. That's not like obviously changing bars and shocks doesn't take that long, but if you're talking about the whole setup and working on things, and I'm sure you realign the car, the whole deal, what is that like? And did you tell Anthony that before? When you signed up for the deal, did you say, hey, I'm also going to totally change your car?
No, not really. We didn't really talk that much about it. I just I called him back and said, yeah, I'll come out and do it. I said, hey, no disrespect to Chris's shock package or anything. I said, but I don't know what that is. Mm-hmm. I said, I would rather bring my shocks because I know what they are. I know where I want to be. and so forth. And he was like, oh yeah, totally. And so then the more I thought about it, I thought, well, I don't know what torsion bars he runs. And so I asked him, and he said, whatever the other company is. And I'm like, well, if it's okay if I bring my own. And he said, yeah, whatever you want to do. So that's really where it ended. And then once I got there Friday morning, he said, well, hey, we have this certain front end in there. And I'm like, well, I don't like that. Can we change it? Yeah. And so, we changed stuff here and there. And I mean, I think lucky for them, they live really close to Williams Grove. So, but I think we got it all done there, in I don't know, early afternoon or so. And then they got those guys loaded up. I ran to the hotel and checked in, and then met them at the racetrack. And I don't, it's just always, it's like I don't know. It's one of those things you do have doubts, like, man, I don't know if this kid's going to like the way, because I mean, quite honestly, we ran at Eldora last year, and I don't know, we just both missed something. Like, I don't, I can't say, oh, Anthony sucked driving, or, I'm the greatest guy there is at setting this car up. I just think that at that time, I just don't think that we clicked on where we needed to be on the car. And, we just had some bad pill draws and whatnot, not making excuses. We just both sucked. That's all there was to it.
Yeah.
So that's in the back of my mind. I'm thinking to myself, well, he obviously can get around Williams Grove. He's won races there. So, and I feel I can get a car to go around Williams Grove, but sometimes it doesn't work together. Like, you could be the greatest guy in the world driving and have the greatest mechanic, but they just don't mesh together. And so obviously he rolled out for hot laps, and he looked pretty strong in hot laps, and I kind of grinned, and I went back, and obviously they do that penalizing thing at Williams Grove for where you have to start your heat race. And so I was like, oh wow, I watched Danny roll. He was supposed to start 10th, and he got to move all the way to 6th in the first heat race because of guys scratching and moving to the back. Well, then he rode around and finished 6th, and I was like, oh, shoot, this doesn't look real well. We're starting 9th, and nobody's scratching out in front of us, so we're still starting 9th. And then he just did a good job. He waited, picked through there, and as the race went on, we just got stronger and stronger. And and I guess I didn't know until my wife told me after the races were over that nobody had won from that far back this year at Williams Grove.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
I mean, he was good in the feature. He was like, he made great decisions, and he was just like, you could tell that he was extremely determined.
Yeah, I am sure. We talked to Corey just a moment ago, and he said his stock was down. We talked to Anthony, and he said he made the mistake of going on social media and reading all about how he was a spoiled, rotten rich kid, this and everything else. Bernie, you talked about the mechanical end of this and the shocks and the sway bars and the cars and the front ends and everything like that. How important, though, as a crew chief, is it for the mental attitude of these young men to get them in the right frame of mind, their level of confidence when they climb aboard that race car that you've prepared?
Well, I guess probably one of my drawbacks is I am pretty reserved. I'm pretty quiet. My wife tells me I'm way monotone because I don't get excited about anything or nothing. And so I always have to try and explain to guys, I'm not a coach, and I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. Like, you got to know what you got to do, and that's what you're here to do. Just like, like me wanting to get Corey in my car. I mean, at the end of the day, I only want people to drive my race car that I think I could win with. So that's the reason why I want Corey to drive, because I truly feel that we can win some races. There's no doubt in my mind. And the same with Anthony. I mean, if I thought in my mind, well, if I'm going to drive 9 hours to get to Williams Grove and we're going to run 7th or 11th or something, I'm just going to stay at home and, hey, put a turn in your right rear or something over the phone and try and help him that way. But, I mean, I know that Anthony's obviously he's won 14 races. It's, 16 now, but at that point he's won 14 races. I mean, so obviously the kid can win races, and I feel like I can win races with him also. So that would, that helped my decision to go there and help him. And they're the Macri family is, they're good people. They're really good people. So, that makes it, and I'm all about, it has to be fun. If you're not having fun, there's no reason in doing it. Like, it's if everybody's mad at each other and nobody wants to speak to each other or whatnot, well, then that's no fun either.
Yeah.
Final question for you, Bernie. You said your two favorite places in the world as far as racetracks go are Knoxville and Williams Grove. the thrill of winning at Williams Grove, that had to still be there on Friday night. That had to be neat for you personally.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably, winning there with Gio, 4 or so years ago, and him being the youngest World of Outlaw winner and everything. That was my first World of Outlaw win.
Right.
And then doing it at Williams Grove even made it that much better. And I mean, I am from Pennsylvania, but I'm from the other end of Pennsylvania. I'm from the slow end of Pennsylvania, so they say. But yeah, I mean, just going to Williams Grove, I did chuckle. The tech guy come over and he wanted to pump the motor on Friday on Anthony's car, and so I'm there taking the rockers off, and he's like, he gets all done, he pumps it, and he comes back over, and he leans over, and he pats me on the shoulder, and he says, "Hey, congrats on the win here. That's nice just to show up here and win." And I chuckled, and I said, "I've actually won here before," and I said, "I actually own the track record here, so I'm pretty confident I can get around here." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's good to know."
Yeah. That is great stuff. Great stuff. Bernie, we know you're busy. We're gonna cut you loose here at this point, but we appreciate your time. Thanks for your insight on you and then on Anthony and Corey, who we've talked about here on the show. We really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here today.
Yep. Thank you. We'll see you at the races.
There you go. We'll see you at the racetrack. Bernie Stuebgen. Boy, doesn't that just put a big old bow around this story?
Yes.
We have times these shows are like once it's about this or once it's about that. This has been the story of silly season. Two uber talented drivers that have had situations that have put them down in the dumps, and one guy coming to the rescue and putting them back in victory lane.
Helping both of them. So neat.
Man,
he's
going
to be busy this weekend.
Yeah, he is. Going to be busy with a couple of cars up there. So, boy, and I'll tell you what, he first World of Outlaw win at Williams Grove. Has the track record there, picks up a win with Macri. Corey Eliason has got to be just pumped about that going forward.
Not a bad situation.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, let's continue on. We've got a bunch of ground to cover man, oh man, we're an hour into this thing. Holy cow. NASCAR grassroots racing and sprint car racing are full throttle every week on Flow Racing, where you can stream over 1,300 events live and on demand and access exclusive coverage. All-Star Circuit of Champions, King of the West NARC Series, IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints, Lincoln, Port Royal, ASCS National Tour, plus the ARCA Menard Series, NASCAR Wheel and Modifieds, Pinty Series, and Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing, all across the board. Subscribe to Flow Racing today at www.flowracing.com/GoMRN. That's flowracing.com/GoMRN. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame birthday calendar. Sam Hanks, birthday tomorrow. Richard the Gasman Griffin, Elmer George, Ricky Hood, Charlie Wiggins, Doc McKenzie, Wally Campbell, Leland McSpadden, Fred Loring, all coming up. Friday, we mentioned this, Ricky Hood, 2006 inductee into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame, second-generation racer. His father, Hooker Hood, started racing it at 16 years old. A couple of USAC championships, over 400 wins. What was really remarkable in learning about Ricky Hood, there's two things. The one happened in 1984. 1984, he won 6 races, including the Tony Holman Classic and USAC. At Phoenix, or I don't know if I think it was at Phoenix, he was struck by a car in the pits and seriously injured.
Ugh.
The story was, what are we going to do in 1985? To everyone's shock, he returned and he won Manzanita the opening round. That's Ricky Hood. That's the one story. The other story, far more personal. I'll never forget one of my favorite times. Tyler Burnett, who's with Flow Racing now. You can get him with Flow Racing. He used to be here with us. We decided we were going to a museum in Arizona to film, just get some B-roll and stuff like that for some sprint cars. We walk in, and here sits Ricky Hood. And we drank beer for like 2 hours and listened to Ricky Hood tell stories. I'll never forget this. You have these moments, and Tyler and I, we get in the car when we're done, and we're sitting there, and we're like, did that just happen? We did not realize it. So Ricky Hood, his story is forever enshrined at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Become a supporting member of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Only $25 free admission to the museum. 10% discount on museum merchandise. SprintCarHOF.com. That's SprintCarHOF.com. Aaron, we don't have to wait for races.
Nope, we sure don't.
Our buddy,
and it's a big week.
Our buddy got a good weather forecast.
Oh, I know. He posted it, and I was like, oh, gosh, I know Brad's been on every app He's probably has 4 or 5
I
weather
am
apps.
so pumped up. You know what I love? I love the Doty race.
Mm-hmm.
I love Attica. I love Brad. But I love seeing people say nice things about
And
Brad
support,
and
yep.
that race.
Me
And I
too.
just love seeing people saying it's my favorite World of Outlaw race of the year,
Mhm.
one of my favorite stops of the year. Brad just does it up. And if you're in Ohio or Indiana, jump in the car and get there. If you're not, you can even make it from Michigan too. If not, it's on Dirt Vision tonight. And then it moves over to Eldora. Wednesday night, Joker's Wild. Thursday night, historical big one. $100,000 to win. Friday night, the night before the Royal. And Saturday, the King's Royal, $175,000 to win. Man, oh man. You imagine if one of our guests here wins this race this week, what that does?
Oh my gosh.
You imagine
I
that?
can't.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
can't.
it's crazy. It really is. Narc, King of the West. Oh man, I'm not even good. I'm gonna go blah 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 blah. I don't even want to know what's going on out at Watsonville, 12th annual Howard Kading Classic. You know, I found this interesting. Kyle Hurst is a 3-time winner. Bud Kading and Jonathan Allard are 2-time winners. Sean Becker won the race last year. Colby Copeland won it 2018 when I was there that night. Buddy Kofoid and Evan Suggs. You know who hasn't won the race? Dominic Selzy, Shane Golobic, Justin Sanders, Tim Kading.
TK.
You imagine TK or Dominic or one of those. You imagine TK wins that race? My God, they'll be partying until August. Holy cow!
I mean, if he doesn't win, they might be partying.
No, I've been to that race. That's true. That's true.
Sorry, just know TK well. Known him for a long time.
Great event.
Yes.
That is a great event that they do out there. Bud is not only a racer, but he's the social director, and he throws a party.
Yes, the Kadings know how to be social directors.
How to throw it. They may know a little bit about racing, but they know a lot about throwing a party, and it all comes together at Watsonville at Ocean Speedway. I love this one. River City Speedway, King of the Wings. It is NOSA sprints versus IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints. I love when our sanctioning bodies get together and kind of see what's going on. And then Michaels Mercer Speedway, SummerSlam, $6,000 to win on Saturday night. Love that because you have Eldora going on over here, and you've got Central Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of guys that are probably like, well, I'm not sure I want to go here. Hey, maybe I'll sneak over to Mercer and see if I can take some money home. That's a great, great track. That's for sure. I want to end the show here today, and we are way, way long, but I do want to take a minute here to mention this. My original plan this weekend going into the year was to go to the King's Royal. I just loved going up there last year, and that was my original plan, and everything else. But over the course of the off season this spring, I learned that my original home track, 5 Mile Point Speedway, has been or is being sold.
Really?
And it is
not
for motorsports use going forward. So this is the final season of racing at 5 Mile Point Speedway in Kirkwood, New York, which is just south of Binghamton. July 24th, 1979, the World of Outlaws, in one of the trivial questions you could win money on. Where was the first race for the World of Outlaws in New York State? Everyone's going to say the Fairgrounds or Rolling Wheels.
Yeah.
It was 5 Mile Point Speedway. Lynn Paxton was the winner that night.
Wow.
And Lynn, actually, they moved to Port Royal and Williams Grove. That was a Tuesday night. Wednesday, they ran at Port Royal. Paxton won there, and he won at Williams Grove with the World of Outlaws.
Wow.
He won 3 World of Outlaw races that week. But 5 Mile Point Speedway was my home track. When I was a child, I remember going there. I was born in 1964, and I remember races as early as 1969, 1970, sitting there with my dad and going there every week, every Saturday night of my life as a child. So much so, we would occasionally go to Canada fishing. So I would miss weeks then. Okay. My junior prom, I had the foolish idea and decided that I would go to the junior prom with a fine young lady. I had so much fun at my junior prom. The night of my senior prom, I went to 5 Mile Point Speedway. It was home. It was my home track. My passion for racing started in the front stretch, and then we used to stand in turn number 3 at 5 Mile Point Speedway. My brother, my friend David Brush, my sister, my family, my dad was always there. It was what we did, and it's where I fell in love with the sport. So this weekend, instead of going to the King's Royal, I'm going to jump on a plane on Thursday, go up, catch my Friday night home track, Penn Can Speedway, and I don't know how better to say this, just going to say goodbye to 5 Mile Point Speedway on Saturday night. I know.
It's sad.
I'm really torn on this. I'm sad, no doubt about it. how many businesses, let alone racetracks, survived 72 years?
You're right.
It was 1950 to 2022. And so the old girl gave us a lot of good races.
Yeah.
Gave me my passion for the sport.
And a lot of other people.
A lot of other people as well. So that's what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to 5 Mile Point Speedway in Binghamton, New York. Going to see the beloved Modifieds race. But more important than that, I'm going to cherish one last time a dear old friend, a place that means so much to me. So, and I'll end with this. If you have a place that means so much to you, a racetrack, go support it. 5 Mile Point Speedway has been on the market for a few years, and in complete honesty, the last few years have been a little rough there. They haven't been booming. We talk about sprint car racing, we talk about dirt track racing booming. There are pockets where it's booming.
There's pockets.
5 Mile Point Speedway is not one of those. I don't know that I dare say if business kept booming where we would be at. That doesn't matter. Where we're at now is the track was sold. And I actually talked to Andrew Harpel as the process was going on. And as I it hurts to say this, but I agree with the decision that he made with where he is at in his life and the track is at. It was the right decision to sell, as much as I hate that decision.
Yeah.
But get out and support your racetracks, folks. Support your racetracks. Get out and support them. Make it so that the racetrack is the most lucrative thing that piece of property could ever be. Do that. How about that? How about changing that? How about so we're tearing down these dang shopping malls and building racetracks? Well, we're not there yet. But anyhow, so that's my weekend, and appreciate just a little time to share that where I'm headed to this weekend. So Wing Nation, you can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook. We also have a YouTube page. You can get your Wing Nation gear at www.shopwingnation.com, shopwingnation.com, or Justin Peck's souvenir rig when you're at the racetrack this weekend. So there you go. Coming up, we mentioned this earlier, Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Carson Macedo joins Ashley and I. Aaron, we're an hour and 11 minutes into
this.
This
Might be our longest show ever.
I think this is our longest show.
Record set.
We used to do an hour show, and then we scaled way back when Ken and I did it. We used to do an hour show, and then we scaled it back. We're radio people here, so we always have to go a 30-minute show or an hour show. So we scaled it back because all the shows at MRN were 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So we scaled it back to that, and then as we became more podcasty and not having to fit the radio mold, we're usually 45 minutes, but here we are, an hour and 11 minutes. But I'm telling you,
it was
what
a
good fascinating visit with Anthony Macri, Cory Eliason, and then Bernie Stuebgen. I'm telling you what.
It was a good day.
It might be the longest show. It might be one of the favorite ones as well.
Absolutely.
Really, really good stuff. So more important, though, than all of those people and Aaron and I hanging out and talking about it, we really appreciate you checking us out here. Hey, share this. Podcasts are grown by people sharing, favoring, liking, even reviewing if you have nice things to say. Podcasts grow by that. So make sure you do that as well. And that's with all podcasts. That's with everything sprint car racing. Make sure you share those things and spread the sprint car gospel. So she's Aaron Evernham. I'm Steve Post. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, right on our strength.